How's it going, guys? It's Kerbo, your favorite that Kerbo little silly man who lives in your computer. Ah god, god. This is a video that you can tell it's a video. Anyways, let's try and pick up the pace here. We're 20 seconds in. What are we doing here? So Melty Blood news came out. Mash, Nekoark. I kind of expected that. I expected Nekoark and Fate, but I didn't really like. Part of me really wanted Archer. Like, if they wanted to add any Fate, add Archer. But besides that, they're in, and we have a whole list here. A list I made on Tiermaker that contains every character I believe to be possible in some regard, and I've categorized them top to bottom. Will they come soon? Who the hell knows? You may have seen my Twitter. You may have seen my a bit of I'm a bit outspoken about this, but I've cooled my head down a bit. My tweets are getting likes. I'm getting that Twitter engagement, and this isn't the first time that I've had this kind of huge Nekoark fan experiences. Plays Melty Blood for the first time. Renai Circulation? That's pretty neat. Huge Renai Circulation fan, excited to get turned off by the first few seconds of Bakemonogatari. That is fantastic. Anyways, we're just here to have kind of me running through this list with my very non-articulate reasons as to why I believe this placement is not necessarily correct, though. If we were speaking more in private and I wasn't trying to keep an image here, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is absolutely correct. I'm always right. But we're trying to be rational here. So, this is a list. All the characters, top, bottom, most likely, least likely. I'm gonna be going over those reasons. And this is a discussion with me and you. Maybe in the comments. Yeah, probably in the comments. I've actually been thinking of like responding to more comments and stuff on YouTube. I read everything because I don't get that many. I don't get like a trillion billion comments, so I do read all of them, but I don't reply to them. I don't know why, but oh well. This is a good forum for discussion because we have something to bounce off of here. My reason versus your reason. So we can start with what will come this wave, whom I believe to be Toko, Azaki, and Hime, Archetype Earth, for kind of really basic reasons, not necessarily anything to do with the plot, which I believe to be kind of the common thread here. Like, you can't, if I can simplify it in in a sentence or two, I believe that Melty DLC order is decided by, just in general, like, it doesn't have to be like a specific 1, 2, 3 this order, but I think for a general wave, characters are picked for DLC based on if we know of their abilities in the most relevant canon to the present. That's why Mash is in, that's why Nekoark is in, and that's why I believe Toko and Hime, because the main audience is Japanese. DLC is probably picked entirely off of the Japan audience. That's why Dead Apostle Noel made it in, even though we don't have anything local, because they don't really care. Japanese fans got to read the seal route in, their native language, and they got to see Dead Apostle Noel in action. And so, because Type Lumina originally launched so close to the launch of Blue Glass Moon, they needed some time to read through that and kind of settle everything in before they add a big spoiler character from the new novel. Characters like Koma, Roa, and such, they can stay. They're Melty mainstays, But new characters, kind of off limits in that sense. So Mash and Nekoark aren't relevant at all, and that's why I believe these two characters to be next. People have read Mahotsukai no Yoru. More people will with the official English remaster, which is let me go off topic for a bit. That is amazing. The fact that we're getting a Type Moon novel officially localized in English. We can have this whole kind of localization debate. I really don't care. I'm just happy that we're getting the thing in English, because if it sells well, and if everything goes well, that sets perfect precedent for Tsukihime remake and any further visual novels to be released in localized English. that is fantastic. And Toko Ozaki, she's the perfect vessel to kind of promote the novel. And you kind of notice that, yeah, things are promotional for a reason. MASH is kind of more of a reverse promotion. It's more like an inward draw to Melty than it is a promotion of FGO, because I'm pretty sure you can like a 100th of FGOs, not even a 100th, like a 1 billionth of FGO's total revenue for Type Moon. But so I hold up. Aoko was added not necessarily because Mahotsuka and Ayoru, all that stuff was announced, but it kind of made sense. So I feel that Toko is the better vessel, mainly because she's in more things than Alice. And in general, I feel like Alice is a much more like mystified character, just based on what I know. Based on what I know, I understand that she teaches Aoko magic and stuff, but Toko is obviously kind of a bigger player within the Tsukihime universe, because she was also, or not even the Tsukihime universe, that's kind of stupid, the Type Moon universe, because as a present main character, or at least a supporting character, she shows up in Kara no Kyokai too. And I think if you added Toko, that would kind of be, two birds with one stone. Ooh, promote Mahotsuka no Yoru, and get that Kara no Kyokai itch off your back. Though I think most people would still want Ryogi. And if we speak in terms of relevance, yeah, they added, Toko was mentioned within the credits, or not the credits, the ending scene of, I believe, Mario and Aoko's arcade mode endings. And if I'm right as well, though I may be thinking of actress again, but I'm pretty sure it's Type Lumina. One of Aoko's generic victory quotes are regarding kind of a teacher-looking female character, and that's obviously Toko with glasses. So I feel like there's a lot hinting at the fact that Toko will make it in somehow. Although Alice is also mentioned in, Aoko's ending, and so are like a lot of other characters. But we're just kind of converging all of this information into one specific character, because I think there's only going to be one Mahotsukai character, at least within the season of winter and the game actually coming out. And as for Archetype Earth, my logic isn't as sound, but she also doesn't have too much unknown about her, at least compared to all these other characters within the Tsukihime remake canon. And she shows up mostly kind of backstage in Melty Type Lumina. She shows up in Roa's ending, and to my knowledge, that's really about it. And of course, as we all know, she got added to FGO, which is kind of awesome, but I don't have a Japanese account, which kind of makes me sad, so I can't really get her. But she also, Ark's birthday is December 25th. It's Christmas. December is winter, and that's really all my logic there. And it kind of makes me incredible, or non-credible. Incredible makes me sound kind of canny, But I don't have any strong arguments for Hime. I just kind of am feeling it. But at the same time, I'm not feeling it because I actually don't want to play against her. Moving on. This 6-character section, Red Garden. Question mark is specifically for characters I don't know of their relevance to Type Lumina and to Red Garden in general. You can kind of see that. But these top 4, Satsuki, Mio, Araki, Shiki, I'm feeling pretty confident that they aren't gonna be this pass, as much as that makes me kind of sad. Though there is maybe a chance for Araki, but, Satsuki, I'm sorry, she's my favorite character from the original visual novel. I can't wait for her route in the remake, but we can stop that. We can just kind of discuss why each of these characters, like Red Garden. I spoke at the beginning of this kind of listing off things that within the canon, characters are picked within the relevance to the, or within, let me rephrase that. Characters are picked within their known abilities in the most recent and relevant canon to the present. So, once Red Garden comes out, all of these characters' kind of intentions and also abilities will be much more known. Satsuki, we only have some manga and a couple lines in the visual novel and Melty Blood to work off of. And the most we know for real is that she has, like, obviously vampire strength, and she has her reality marble depletion garden, which is, I think that's still going to be the last arc because, that just makes sense. But other than that, I feel like there's a lot more to work with because her full potential wasn't shown in the original novel. So French Bread most likely didn't have too much to work with besides those small snippets of her abilities. I'd like her to be this wave, but at some point you gotta face reality, like I did in believing that a Fate character would be added this wave. And hey, one was. Mio Psyche is this case where we know nothing. We know nothing about her abilities. Her weird hand is kind of like, it's in her name. I feel like she's a psychic character. She has like some sort of Asagami type destroying the world. I think Fujino Asagami would be a fun character in Melty, but also I feel Ryogi is more important. But both of them are servants in FGO. Both of them are servants. Who knows? But once we see Mio in action, because she was only there in Blue Glass Moon to say hello, so once we see that, there's a good chance she's going to make it in because she's building up, like, very subtly, not necessarily in her actions, to have a pretty strong relevance in Red Garden. Arak is, once again, kind of a mysterious in-intentions character, but there's already a lot of kind of mystery surrounding her. Also her whole spider thing. She's kind of a spider. Her boobs are really big. But the reason I put her here and not in this wave is because, once again, her relevance isn't, and abilities aren't really known, but also because I don't know what they could do with her. So we're just gonna kind of leave it at that because I don't really have any strong arguments for why she'd be here and not here. Because I feel like some people have been saying, she would be in this section, but I don't really think so myself. And Uppercase Shiki, he's gonna be in Remake. They have a new design for him. He looks pretty cool. And I think that's it for Shiki. I feel like the only reason he wasn't in original Melty was because of the whole Tatari recreating Roa. And if Roa was there, then that means Shiki wasn't there. So it'd be kind of contradictory to have both of them. Because every alternate character has a reason to be there. Nanaya, Akiha, Mekisui, White Lin, all those characters have a canonical reason to be there. Uppercase Shiki wouldn't have a reason to be there if Roa was there. So saving him for DLC, saving him for Red Garden DLC, that makes more sense. I'd like to see him use his blood sword from the routes where he uses it, because that's really cool, and it kind of reminds me of Carmine from Undernight. So I'm hoping for him. But what I'm hoping for more, fucking Nero Chaos, baby! My god, my goat, Nero Chaos. Nero is a character that requires so many sequences to happen in order for him to be in Tsukihime Remake at all, because I am coping intensely. I believe that it was stated that the only reason he was removed from the remake and replaced with Vlav was because he was legitimately too unique and too powerful to be introduced and then subsequently killed this early. So if what the Getcha 2 says about Sachin's route ending and how it involves Nero Chaos and Roa fighting Satsuki, Shiki, and Archetype, there's some hope, because that would then let the whole power scaling thing, I wouldn't necessarily call it power scaling, but general like dynamic of and balance of power be a bit more even, as Shiki and Satsuki also develop their skills over the story and all. I feel like he has a chance of being there at the end, because the difference between Vlav and Nero is that Vlav wouldn't really fit at the end of Satsuki's route like Nero would, because Vlav is just kind of this unknown dead apostle ancestor, while Nero and Roa they still have that connection, this very close sworn friend connection, as it is in the original. The text with Nero conversing with Roa is still there in the remake. So if Sachin's route is the exact same, or not even the exact same, this main point of this final confrontation is generally the same with the same characters present, then there is a chance that Nero Chaos will make it into Melty Blood type Lumina by virtue of being a player in Tsukiji Hime remake like that. And that's what I'm hoping on, because Nero Chaos, if we kind of exclude all the female characters, is probably... Well, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair. Even if we include all of the female characters, Nero is easily in my top 3. My top 3 being Satsuki, Nero, and Arihiko. So I'm hoping. Just because I don't think that, Satsuki and Nero aren't gonna be this wave, it doesn't mean that I don't want them. I want them probably more than anyone. But you know who I don't want? Vermillion Akiha. Not necessarily because I hate her. I don't think I do. But I feel Akiha has enough. All of her kind of crimson abilities were kind of neutered down a bit and kind of slapped into normal Akiha, who I assume, like, because all the Melty characters fighting here just doesn't really have a great justification. Like, Kohaku's bio page in the gallery is literally, we don't know how she does this, because there's no Miyako influencing Kohaku through the hologram summer and such. But Vermillion Akiha, if they make her if they make her the explosive glass cannon that she was in Actress Again and all the Act series, then I feel like a much more like zoner emphasis would help distinguish her from normal Akiha, who's kind of still a zoner, but she has more in stuff, and Oki and such. But that's a discussion for the competitive players. I'm not too competitive, so I actually don't have that much to comment on, because Vermillion Akiha, like, in terms of, I feel like she's different enough from normal Akiha, like this one, to be allowed in Melty type Lumina, because that's just kind of a weird imposed rule. Like, even Arc and Red Arc, they have different clothes, so I feel like that's enough of a distinction. And I'd love to see Akiha's casual wear animated in type Lumina. That is like the one reason why I want Vermillion Akiha, and also because in terms of appearance, maybe she's like one of my favorites, I have to say. That's a really guilty admission, I think. I just really like the hair color contrasting with the clothes in original Tsukiji Hime Akiha Vermillion. I just thought it was really nice. But that's really all I have for Akiha, because even in temperament she's different, and yeah, that's about it. And now we can just kind of zoom through this. Not necessarily because we're running out of time. I can go for really as long as I care to go for. Later date, Sion, Riesbeif, Warachia, because it's a big hint that the original Melty storyline does play into type Lumina somehow. Because if you paid attention during the end of the boss rush mode, which is the only scenario written by Nasu himself at the time, I don't know if that changes. I assume it's gonna stay the same, but since the boss rush is the only one written by Nasu, there's some extra insight and extra like confirmation of X thing happening. At the end of the boss rush, in the good ending, you'll note that Miyako says that she can't really confirm it, but she feels that a big event that happens in summer got pushed back a little bit. Because Melty Blood takes place maybe like a year after Tsukiji Hime, during the summer. That's an obvious reference to the hologram summer created by Warachia, and that would have him, Sion, and Riesbeif later come to, I guess, Soya now instead of Misakicho. They would come to the town to investigate, and of course that would get them all tangled up, and there's the story. And if that happens, and Satsuki as well, back alley alliance reunion. That is something I need. I really need. So, I don't really have any ideas for, what would make these characters particularly type Lumina with, the changes to mechanics and such, shield and all. But, Eltnum already exists in Undernight. They could take that, which was pretty much a full translation of Sion to Undernight. So there's stuff to work off of. I feel like Riesbeif would also overlap kind of a bit too much with Mash from what we've seen. And Wadachia, well, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. I don't really care about him. If I'm gonna be honest, the only reason he's in this state and instead of never is because I have to kind of slap myself with like reality there. He's part of the Melty Blood story, so he's gonna be here. And question mark is a category of just characters I don't know their status of. Len will probably be added if Kagetsu Toya shows up in the story at all. Like, if there's Kagetsu Toya remake or something. Archer, if they add another Fate character, it'll probably be Archer or Emiya. Maybe Ilya, who knows. I just don't think they add anything from beyond, like, Zero, Stay Night, Hollow Ataraxia, fucking go. Like, I don't think they're gonna add any of the characters from Apocrypha, realistically, Prisma Ilya, or any of that stuff. And, Ryogi and Nanaya kind of have this weird, like, I don't really feel like there's any incentive to put them in. Like, there's already, like, the whole thing about Shiki and Nanaya is that this Nanaya right here is a distinct, like, a distinct manifestation of his repressed, Nanaya blood. And so, in Hime, normally, it's just that the Nanaya instincts kick in at points, which you can kind of assume to be kind of linked to Boundary Peak in terms of multi-blood type Lumina gameplay. So, I don't know. I don't really feel like there's a reason for him to be in, if we're speaking from just that perspective. I'm sure I'd appreciate it if he was in because he's really fucking funny, but besides that, I don't see the logic in that one. Ryogi, love her. Watch Kara no Kyokai, but I also just don't think there's any incentive because she was added, if I recall correctly, to promote just like celebrate even the Kara no Kyokai movies. So I don't think there's any incentive there. Because Mahotsukai no Yoru is coming out, so Toko. And then Never is just kind of joke characters. Neko Art Chaos, because Chaos isn't even in the fucking game. Meki Sui, because she's a creation of Kohaku during the hologram summer by thanks to Miyako believing that she's this crazy mad scientist. Echo Arc, because who the fuck is she? Vision, mainly just because I don't think that point in the Melty story is really important right now. White Len, because that point in the Melty story isn't really that important right now. Waver, because I don't fucking care about El Moa. I haven't read it yet, so who knows. And Alice, because Toko exists. So, probably gonna edit this down super, or hell, even just write a script off of it to make it easier to digest. But this is my completely raw take on all of this. So, see you guys fucking later. This is probably going on the That Kerba Cube channel.